Okay, welcome back. So in the first part of this lecture I mentioned about the Pythagorean identities in the series of lectures on trigonometry. So now I'm going to discuss the next topic, which is the next actually the format format of identity, the cofunction identities. So to speak about cofunction identities, I need to define you what is meant by a cofunction. Alright, cofunction. If a function, I take a function f, say fx. If I take a function fx, alright, the cofunction of fx or the cofunction of f is the function, if I take it as g something, I call that as gy. If gy is the cofunction of fx, then x plus y, x and y where they are angles should be equal to 90. X plus y should be equal to, in radius 5 by 2. Alright? X plus y is equal to 90. The radians 5 by 2. So these two angles x and y are also these are also called complementary angles. Complementary if they add up to 90, and supplementary if they add up to 180. So these two angles are complementary. So if gy is the cofunction of fx, then x and y are complementary, or x plus y is equal to 90 or equal to 5 by 2. Alright, so that's what is meant by a cofunction. Then what are meant by cofunction trigonometric identities? You know that if the sine value of a specific angle between 0 and 90, or any angle in any quadrant. Now I mentioned about the quadrant in the first part of the lecture, and I invite, if you didn't hear that lecture, to listen it first and come back here. So in the first part of the lecture I mentioned what I meant by quadrants. So if you take any quadrant, the sine value of an angle increases as the angle increases, and excuse me, the cos value of an angle decreases in the same quadrant as the angle increases, and the two angles add up to 90. So the sine value of some angle, say sine theta, and the cos value of the angle cos alpha, sin theta equals cos alpha, then theta plus alpha is equal to 5 by 2. Let's take an example. Take sin 30. Oops, so sin theta equals cos theta. So this one, I'll take sin 30 equals half, and I'll take the cos value, cos theta equals half. Right? For cos theta equal to half, if theta is between 0 and 90, theta should be equal to 60. So sin 30 equals cos 60 equals, so you know that 30 plus 60 is equal to 90. So sin and cos for any angle, not 30 and 60, not 45 and 45, not 15 and 75, or any angle, 1 and 89, the sine and cos are cofunctions. So if sine and cos are cofunctions, as I mentioned before, sine and cos are called the basic trigonometric functions. So the other functions should also be cofunctions, which are the derivatives of sine and cos. So if sine 90 minus theta is equal to cos theta, right? Then 1 upon sine minus 90 minus theta should be equal to 1 upon cos theta. So 1 upon sine 90 minus theta is cosec theta, cosec 90 minus theta, and 1 upon cos theta is equal to sec theta. If sine 90 minus theta is equal to cos theta, then tan 90 minus theta should equal to cot theta, and to take the reciprocal identity, cot 90 minus theta is equal to 90. Right? So these are the cofunction identities. So in this lecture I mentioned what is meant by a cofunction and what are the cofunction identities and how cofunction identities can be defined using the definition of a certain cofunction. So let's take an example. Say if you need, you know that sine value of some angle is equal to 3 by 5, 3 by 8, because 5 was used in the last example. So I'll say 3 by 8 sine value